This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
We have just finished yesterday's first day of a lot of activities. Last evening was the second line parade, the president's party, lots of stuff went on. Then I went out to dinner. Everybody kind of went their own ways after the party. Really no big gala show or anything, but a lot of activities planned here for the day. And right now I'm walking with a group of about 15 magicians, and we're on our way to the Café Du Monde over by Jackson Square. And I'm here then with Jay Ragnew, the OK, and we were just talking as we were walking about some conventions that we've attended, and he was telling me an interesting story about his first convention that was the Las Vegas Desert Seminar. So, hello, Jake. Well, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Scott.
Have you been in New Orleans before, or is this your first
Long time? No, I was here about 20-some years ago with my daughter, who at that time was 11. It was a medical convention, and my wife couldn't make it, and she didn't feel all that comfortable with me coming down. So I said, why don't you take Farrell with you? I said, oh, okay. Anyhow, we had a great time, so.
Are you having a good time at this convention so far?
Yeah, it's like summer camp.
Yeah.
You
come to S.A.M. every year?
Not every year. I come probably, I don't know, maybe the last few.
Las Vegas?
I was in Las Vegas, so.
Well, speaking of Vegas, so that was, you were telling me about this convention. So
okay,
Joe Stevens. Start at the beginning here.
Okay, so this was, you got to understand, this is my first experience at a magic convention. So I was a real newbie. I think I was probably in my early mid-20s. At that time, I think it was my first year out of residency. I happened to be a doctor on the side.
Okay.
An internist and geriatrician.
Geriatrician, I like that.
Yeah, I swear, Anyhow, so to make a long story short.
This would have been about, what, 81-ish?
Late 70s.
Late 70s, okay.
Late 70s. So all the kind of like the household names at that time were there, big guys. I think, let's see, Paul Gertner, Johnny Paul. I don't remember whether Ali Bongo was there, but in any case, it was cool. If I knew any better. So
you just had heard of some of these guys, but you really haven't seen them.
So anyhow, so it was the get acquainted party before the convention started, and Joe Stevens asked if anyone wanted to do something impromptu. So again, this is my first convention. I don't know from anything. So here I am. I raised my hand, and probably a few of the other guys who were actually performing at the convention were doing some impromptu stuff. Anyhow, it's my turn, and Joe introduces me and says, I don't know who this guy is, but he comes from the East Coast and was the second to register for the convention. Not
glowing endorsement.
Yeah, glowing, really. Yeah. Anyhow, so I get up there.
Here he is, Jay. Ragnew the OK.
Ragnew. Well, they didn't. I don't think I told them that I was Jay Young or whatever. And anyhow, so I'm up there, and there are these three old guys in the front row.
As always.
So I didn't know them, but they seemed to be relatively, kind of like mucky mucks, you know. So later I heard that these guys were Di Vernon, Sly Dini, and Johnny Paul.
So just the three wise men right there,
Really. So what the hell? So anyhow,
And how'd your show go? How'd your tricks go?
Oh, wait, you got to hear this.
Okay.
So in any case, what happened? Oh, if you're going to get me rolling here. In any case, what happened is that I look at everyone, and I asked them if they didn't mind if I moved the close-up table back about 6 feet and dim the lights.
Squint your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, really. So essentially I did Slidini's effect of coins through the table.
Yep.
And it was sort of like my little variation on it. And I fooled them.
Oh,
it was
great.
the zenith of my magic career. Anyhow, the follow-up on it is great. Because like in the mid-convention, Joe says, hey, would you like to come to Wichita to actually perform? I said, okay. And I thought I was going to be an international superstar,
Put this doctor stuff on the side. Then,
really.
Yeah, here you go.
So here it is, like I think 6 months or so later, I'm in Wichita, Kansas, and I was on the close-up show. I think it was a Saturday night, and there are only a few other guys, kind of like doing. I think John. Let's see, no, it wasn't John. It was Fred Capps and a couple of other lesser knowns.
Some other people you never heard of. Yeah.
And Ragnu the OK. So before the convention, before the show. Joe comes up to me and says, Jay, don't worry about this. All you have to do is 8 minutes. I had 3.
I'll do that 3 over about 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. So I was sweating buckets. I knew a ton of tricks, but not that many that were performance ready.
Yeah.
So I think it was Doc Eason, Steve Spill, and can't remember the guy with the gap tooth.
Bob Sheets.
Bob Sheets.
Yeah.
Bob Sheets were there, and they got me shit-faced before.
I asked him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Shafazed.
Right. Anyhow, before. So I had this heavy buzz on, and actually they set it up so I was the first guy to do some of the close-up stuff. Anyhow, Joe introduces me, and which was a little nicer introduction than the first time around.
He knew you this time.
Yeah. So I stumbled up to the front row, almost falling over a couple of the magicians.
Yeah.
Elegant it was not. So here I am. Doc's gonna love this. Anyhow, so I start with my Slidini thing, and then I do a coin flurry. Wait a second. So I do this, Slidini's coins through the table. I look down. There were 6. I started with 6 silver dollars. When I looked, there were 12. I said, where the heck did these others come from?
You guys messing with you? Putting them on the table?
No, it was me.
Oh, it was you? You just weren't. Okay, got it.
So when I slammed my fist down on the table, you could hear a cacophony of coins clattering all over the floor.
Yeah.
On hands and knees, I scurried to pick them up. And then I went on to do a...
Well, it'll take about 8 minutes, I guess, if you kind of spill all of your props and pick them up,
Well, I followed up with a coin flurry and ended by pulling the last one out of my crotch.
That's something you don't see Slidini do.
Well, it's kind of like an indelible, I think, moment for Doc. And every time I talk to him, he has to bring it up. So, to make a long story shorter, I was terrible. It was like a nightmare. My ego was so bruised. I slipped home. I flew home that night with my tail between my legs, and it took my ego about a year to recoup. So anyhow, I wrote about this whole thing in my book, and I end the whole episode saying, alcohol, drugs, and magic don't mix. Take my advice. I'm a doctor and a magician too.
Great story. And that was you heard also they got the band in the background over there then too. So we just arrived at the Café du Monde, and we're going to be having some beignets and coffee, and that should be a great breakfast here. Then we got to get back, I think, at 10 o'clock. It's 8:30 right now. Anyhow, we'll see what's going on. Yeah, Bruce Copper says it's not going to happen. We'll see what's happening. But that's it for right now from New Orleans, across from Jackson Square and the Café du Monde. That was Jay Ragar. Okay, and this is Scotty out. One of the people I always love to talk with, and you probably have heard him on many of the podcasts with me in the past, is someone who actually books the talent for not just this convention, but several others. And we got Abbott's coming up, and he's the one who booked for that. But first of all, let me say hello to Mike Miller. Hey there, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. I'm glad that you're here again, and you were responsible for kind of putting all this together as well, as far as the talent. So.
Along with Mark Whitehouse, yes. The talent, myself, I'm booked the close-up show as well as the gala show for Saturday night.
Well, you and Mark and Vinny were like the three amigos over it, and so I saw Vinny here just yesterday.
He's over to the theater now, getting ready for the contest tonight.
Yeah. So has he been involved with this then too, like before?
Just the competition.
He's been like in Vegas. He's been doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's very busy with his shows and stuff, but he's been working on the competition here.
Is he working Cosmopolitan, or what is the theater?
He was at Notoriety.
Notoriety,
but it's I think he's just doing more cruise ships and corporate stuff.
Okay, interesting. I haven't had a chance to chat with him. Mm-hmm. But so this one, have you got some people you can tell us who are on the bill tonight?
That's the competition. I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
The close-up show is our Paul Wilson and Friends. I think Jason England is on. Paul Nardini.
Yeah, I saw Jason out there kind of holding court, and along with Steve Reynolds.
I think Steve is going to do something with them as well. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But we have...
Quickly look it up over here then.
Yeah, Paul Nardini. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Giancarlo.
As good as I can. Giancarlo.
Giancarlo. And Jason England, Nardini. Paul Nardini.
Yeah.
And Paul Wilson. And then there's this young kid who's Close-Up Stars of Tomorrow show. I saw his video. He's very good with cards. So the three kids that are doing Close-Up Stars of Tomorrow, two of them are walk-around magicians. This kid sat at the table and did card stuff, so I didn't want him to do the walk-around, so I put him on the professional show with Paul Wilson and Friends, and he's going to open the show.
Speaking of Stars of Tomorrow, and as long as you've been involved with all this, who can you think of offhand who was a star of tomorrow, who really is a star of today?
Matt Franco. Matt Franco, Jen Kramer, Darren Romeo. You just saw Trig on America's Got Talent, and he's going to be a big star soon. Trig Watson, Shin Lim.
Yeah. Just a few people who have done pretty well.
Names, yeah, there's some really good names.
So we really see a lot of people, and we saw some great acts here today on Stars of Tomorrow, and I think that the magic is in good hands.
Oh, my God, yes. There was two acts that I like to book right off the bat. The juggler, I don't know his name, Jeffrey Chan. Yeah. And then the manipulator who was taught by Dal
Sawick, yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce her name, but they're from China. And I do a lot of stuff in China, so...
You still working, doing things?
I do some things, help out a little bit, but she was fantastic, and her mother, I heard, is a great manipulator, too, so I want to look at their acts and bring them to Abbott's possibly next year.
That's great. Speaking of Abbott's, for this year, tell me who we got that's going to be coming up.
Wow. Bruno Tarnecki from Peru. We have Shenpei from Japan. I have an all-Japanese show.
An all-Japanese show?
An all-Japanese
No, it's not just all Asian, it's all Japanese.
It's all Japanese.
Wow,
I don't know how to pronounce their names, but...
Japanese magicians.
Yes.
Fair enough.
As well as South American, or basically from Spain.
Yeah.
It was originally from South America. Here's Shenpei.
Which evening do you know that's going to be?
The South American's going to close the show.
Okay.
Saturday night. And they're going to do the actual close-up as well. and the Magic of Japan will be on Friday night. So they have a guy named Shoma.
I love Shoma.
No, it's not the one from Hungary.
Oh, not that Shoma.
The one from Hungary. It's going to be a traditional Japanese-style show.
Oh, okay. Who's emceeing that, do you know?
They have... BJ Mallon.
Oh, BJ Mallon. Of course.
Yeah, I figure I love him as an MC, so I was going to put him on the Saturday night show, but they already have an MC, so BJ. Plus, I'm going to see if he can pronounce their names.
Throw a little challenge in there for him then as well. Now, you used to do Super Sunday also. Are you still involved with that? Is that an annual thing or semi-annual?
Yeah, I'm doing it once a year now.
Okay.
Still going to do it, and the money that's made from that will go into the S.A.M. Endowment Fund, and I'm going to do a scholarship once a year to either go to for a kid to go to camp, pay for his camp, or give him a scholarship to college.
So for those of you who are listening and wondering about the Super Sunday, what time of the year is that going to be? And it's just a one-day deal.
Yeah, this one is going to be November 12th.
In Pennsylvania still?
Yes.
Okay.
Right outside Philadelphia, Ben-Salem. And my lecturers are going to be Bruce Calvert, and then I have Mike Hummer, who used to work for Al Cohen, and he's going to do a lecture on Al Cohen.
Okay. Don't confuse him. He's not related to the Hummer family we know from before. Yeah. I've seen this guy before. He's good.
Yeah, Mike Hummer is very good. And he was Al Cohen's #1 demonstrator behind Al for years. So, and he does a nice job. He's going to do a whole talk about Al Cohen and his magic and his career. So,
okay. And so let me ask the most important question: how do you think the Eagles are going to do this year?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. As long as they beat the Cowboys, I don't care. Yeah, that's why I'm glad TAOM next year is in Dallas. So
Looking forward to that. That's going to be a great confluence of events right there. Right. You know, with the North American Championships for FISM and the TAOM and the S.A.M.
Yeah, and I'm booking a talent for it.
Are you doing it all?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to go out this year to TAOM in Houston, talk with the committee members, and get everybody to be on the same page, and then I'll start booking acts. I've already talked to a few of them. I want to try to bring in some FISM winners. And then, I'm hoping I can get 2 acts that won FISM this year. Yeah. Actually, 4 acts that won FISM this year. I'm trying to get, but I got to find out what my budget is before we start talking.
Sure. Well, it sounds exciting because the IBM and the S.A.M. has worked together in the past having a combined convention, but never with the TAOM. This is the first time that I'm a member of the TAOM, and of course of being a FISM voting member again now, of trying to host that. So I'm curious how this is all going to be working out. And
Well, it came about because the S.A.M. in Dallas turns 100 that year.
Right.
So we talked, Al Sanders and Mark Whitehouse talked about combining, and we figured we can, since Dal is on the FISM board as the North American president or vice president, I'm not sure, I think he's the president, we figured it would be perfect to have the North American Championship there. So it's going to be a great competition. You have to be very high up. You got to be a great performer to compete in FISM. So that's the perfect place for it. And you have to go through either North America or South America to get to the competition. So
I was about to ask that. For people who are interested in wanting to compete at FISM, you do have to win, in
North America. You got to win the regionals, which is North America, South America. You have Asia, Oceanic, European. Yeah, so there's different locations.
And how would one get to this competition in North America? What do they need to? Do they win something else first? Do they qualify them? How do you qualify?
They have to do well at TAOM SAM next year in Dallas. So they have to compete there. And I don't.
There'll be FISM judges who will be judging.
There'll be FISM judges as well, and they have to do well there to be accepted to go to FISM in Italy. So I don't know who's performing. I don't know who the judges are, but it's got to be FISM quality. And America really don't have acts that are FISM quality.
I agree with you. I know.
And
Dal and I've talked about this in a long time.
Even though we've had a few North Americans win, like Shawn Farquhar, he's fantastic. Yep. We had
Paul Gertner did pretty well.
Paul Gertner did great. Shutagawa.
Yeah. Lance Burton.
Yep. Rick Merrill.
Johnny Ace Palmer.
Yep.
A few.
Yeah. Rick Merrill. Greg Fruin won. So there are some really good acts in North America, but
Danny Cole.
Danny Cole as well, yeah. But the Asians are above and beyond, as well as most of the Europeans and Germans.
Well, they have a different respect for magic over there. And
they have discipline.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, you have worked over in China, and you've seen that discipline,
yes. Yeah, it's discipline. Like the Chinese Acrobat Association, the kids that are in that, they stay, their parents, their family sends them away for several years. And they're in this school for several years to learn acrobats or whatever they're going to do. Like they want to go to they want to go to Olympics.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They go for years and just train.
Will send people to ballet or the symphony or whatever.
Hockey. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, makes sense. Well, you've done a good job over the years, and Hank Morehouse, I know, was your predecessor over here.
Yeah, Hank was my mentor. So this is my last S.A.M. other than doing next year's producing the talent.
Who's taking over?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Do they have a clue?
I have an idea, but I don't think it's definite yet. Yeah. So, I think they do, but I don't want to mention the name until I know what's happening, because Mark Whitehouse is stepping down as a convention chair, and the new president has to appoint a convention chairman, and then that convention chairman appoints the assistants, like the show producer and things like that.
Well, this convention is good. I think it's a great place as far as New Orleans with the food. It's a nice hotel. A little bit on the expensive side here, but then some of the other.
It is, and it's a small convention because you have 5 conventions in a row, back to back to back.
That's right.
IBM, then S.A.M, Abbott's, Magic Live, and at the end of the month, TAOM. So it's a lot.
Yeah. And I've got one I'm going to be going even after that. It's going to be Poe's Magic Conference in Baltimore.
Oh, and what is it?
Poe's Magic Conference in Baltimore.
That's right. Yeah, that's a smaller convention, right?
Yeah, it's only about 100 or so.
Yeah, and then the Super Sunday's November, but that's not here or there. The 4 major ones or 5 major ones are back to back, and people have to make a choice.
I mentioned as we close over there about Super Sunday. Where can people go to find more information about that? What's the website?
Well, there's we don't have a website up because the person who made the website up years ago, he's long gone and we can't find him to make changes. So everything's going on the Super Sunday Facebook page, and we're doing it that way. But eventually we're going to get things up. I'm changing the name around a little bit, and then we're going to go from there.
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate it. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
So with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Mike Miller. Scotty out. One of the other past presidents, we've been talking with a lot of past presidents over here. It seems like all my friends are past presidents. And here is one that is also a friend of yours who also goes by a.k.a. Santa Claus. Oh, you're supposed to say ho-ho. No. Yeah. There he is, Mark Whitehouse. Hey, Mark.
Hi. Hi, Scott. Good to see you.
So I understand that you and Mike have been working as the kind of co-talent chairman. But that he said another couple of years, he's finished, and you're going to be kind of moving on also.
Mike and I, we're a great team.
Yeah.
We've been working on these things for years. He books all the talent. I work on all the stuff with the convention. And he's been telling me, he says, as long as you're there, I'm there. And we've come to a point where we realize we need to do something different with our conventions. This is a good place for us to
How many years have you been
retire.
doing it?
15 years.
They've been good conventions. I mean, ever since Hank passed and then Mike took over, I mean, I told him that both did equally great jobs, and I like the idea of having theme nights and everything that he's done, with whatever. So I'm looking forward to the shows coming as well. I mean, it's been a good convention that you put on here then again this year.
That party last night was something people have been talking about, said this is the way it used to be, and that's what we were trying to do.
Reminded me of an IBM convention we had in New Orleans when Earl Christianberry was the president of the IBM, and we were in the hotel, and they had the second line that we walked around throwing beads and everything, but we were in a hotel lobby. That was a little bit different over there. We actually walked through the street, and everybody got to be in the parade if you want to.
Exactly. And then the fun afterwards with the dancers and the trapeze. It was fantastic.
A lot of stuff going on. It's like, wow, what am I going to look at next? It was really great.
Yeah.
And also this afternoon is seeing the people who are the future stars of magic. Fantastic.
Stars of Tomorrow
Stars
show
of
is
Tomorrow.
always one of our biggest draws, and we had a really good crowd there too. So.
Are you going to be having this year? I haven't looked all the way through the schedule yet. Another Magic Circle reception or not this year? Are they...
We're not able to. There's several of us who are Magic Circle members, but
No,
we'll have to do that next time.
And then, but we are having a life member.
Life members tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking about the Magic Castle. We've got Mike Caveney and
Tina
and Christopher Hart, who are both
here?
trustees. Yep.
Haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, they're coming in. I think they should be here now.
Okay.
But
Will they be here for the rest of the
they're
convention?
trustees, of course, so they'll be talking about some of the history of the Magic Castle at the Life Member.
There was a movie that they had produced, and I have not yet seen that. Have you seen that film about the castle?
I haven't, no.
Okay. I don't know if that's actually been released, but I know they had a thing. I know you got to get a bounce over here. We're going to be loading up on the buses here shortly.
We're loading up on the buses. We're going to go over to the theater, see the contest. It should be a lot of fun. There's some extra surprise entertainment that is going to be part of that event. And then coming back later on tonight to see the Ed Marlowe movie, which is apparently it's only been shown one other time, maybe 10 years ago. So
and is Steve Reynolds working with that since John Rockefeller can't be here?
This is a project, Steve Reynolds, since John can't be here, Steve Reynolds, I think, has even written a book about this work.
Yeah, I was talking with him yesterday about that, and he was saying about, how this was some of the footage, I guess, that John had actually recorded when he was with Ed.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it should be very historical.
Not ever shown before. This is the first time ever.
Right.
A
Yeah.
lot of other firsts like that. One of them is going to be the book, which is going to be released, the S.A.M. book.
At the banquet tomorrow, we're very excited about that. We're going to have David Charvet will be here to as part of the release to sign it. We've got the Goodsell family, and we've got a lot of past national presidents, as you mentioned, who are in the book. They'll be there signing books, so you can really get a one-of-a-kind opportunity to add something to your library.
And they get a special limited edition as well, with slipcover and everything.
That's right, yeah, it's beautiful.
So it's going to be great all the way up through Wednesday night before we finally turn us loose. Now, just real quickly, again, sorry, but I want to find out about what happened Saturday. Had a ghost tour and everything else. Did you participate in any of the Saturday pre-convention activities?
I did. And
tell me what I missed.
That was so fun. We scheduled a ghost tour, and it was pouring down rain. Everyone was looking at me. We had about 27 people signed up. People were like, "Are we still doing this?" And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's just rain, and but it was pouring. It was lightning in the sky. We got there. We didn't know that they had ponchos that they were going to give us, so everyone had these white ponchos. It looked like Charlie Brown Halloween with everyone wearing a white, I got a rock type of a thing, walking down the streets. In about 10 minutes, the rain kind of let up, and it was wonderful, but there was still lightning in the air, dancing around.
Wow.
Heard some spooky stories. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And then there was a bus tour, I think, or a streetcar, or did you go to the... was there something else that was going on? I thought there was something in the agenda.
We had a dinner that we invited a lot of the people that were here early on Saturday too. Yeah. So that was a fun event.
I was thinking about going. Wasn't there something I saw on the agenda about going to the?
We were going to do one of the boats.
The boat. That's what it was. Yeah.
But we didn't have enough people to make it worthwhile to do it as a group.
Yeah, and the registration, I understand, just a little over 300 so far this year.
We're right. We were planning on 300, and we're right about at that point.
That's right. Yeah. Mark, thanks very much. Did a great job as usual, and so going to miss you whenever that you kind of bail out in a couple of years. Well, I guess after Dallas next year's going to be awesome.
One more year, yeah. So there's going to be a big shindig next year at TAOM. We're very excited about that one. That's going to be a combined S.A.M. TAOM sponsoring the North American FISM Championship of Magic. Yeah.
Because it's also going to be recognizing the local S.A.M. assembly in Dallas' 100th anniversary.
100 years, wow! And I understand the original charter is present and signed by Harry Houdini.
Now, they signed one for ours in Houston also, and it hung on the wall in the Shamrock Hotel. When they tore down the Shamrock, apparently that went with it, so we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
But that will be an awesome time. I got a question about, there were many years ago, we had the 100th anniversary, I thought, of the S.A.M., which is when they released a stamp, and David Copperfield, that was New York City. And then I understand this is like the 94th or 5th convention. So the convention,
94th, yeah. Next
this
year
doesn't
will be the
line up
95th.
with the actual age of the S.A.M.
No, they didn't have. I don't think they had conventions the first
10 years or so.
maybe 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking then, or a little bit longer. Mark, again, thanks very much. Good luck on.
I'll see you in Houston too.
I will see you in Houston. You're coming for the TAOM.
Yeah.
That's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be at Magic Live.
I'm skipping
Maybe?
Magic Live. No, 25th wedding anniversary. I've got to participate in.
How about Abbott's? Abbott's will be.
I've never been to an Abbott's. I really want to.
I didn't think I'd seen you there.
Yeah.
Once you go, you'll always go back.
Yeah.
So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Mark Whitehouse. Scotty out. One of the things that most conventions have, not all anymore, but many of them still have contests. And one of the people who have won several contests is with us then here tonight. And not only that, he's been on Penn and Teller Foolish. He's competed at FISM and every place. Please welcome my buddy and yours, Ed Ripley. Hey there, Ed.
How are you doing?
Fantastic. And you're not just a friend, you're a brother. I mean, you're a
Exactly.
4F brother. That's the way,
exactly.
the 4F, we're all brothers and sisters when
Yeah.
we attend that. It's a different kind of event. How are you liking this convention?
So I've enjoyed the convention so far. As you know, the contests are one of my favorite parts because this gives young magicians or magicians that are starting a professional career a chance to practice and perform in front of a live audience in an absolutely wonderful facility. It allows them to hone their skills, to edit their act and make it as tight as possible, and it gives them confidence. And I have benefited from the contests that I entered, and I've always enjoyed it.
And it also teaches everyone, I think, to have deadlines and to get something accomplished before then. You know, okay, it's coming, I need to practice or I need to do whatever it's going to be, which you need in everyday life for your business, whatever it's going to be. You have certain things you have to accomplish. Even if, I don't care what it is, you would still have goals and objectives, I think, in order to advance your career, whatever that might be, as a magician, of trying to get more shows maybe, or more money, or whatever it is, but you have to have these kinds of goals. And so I think that competition helps you learn more about the importance of deadlines and goals.
Yeah, and it also tells you what's urgent and what's not urgent, and it allows you to pick out the things that have to be done now and the things that can wait just a little bit, as well as the things that are the most important or the things that really don't matter.
One of the things I've noticed is that Stuart McDonald is still competing.
Yes.
I want to ask you, are you planning on still competing? Or are you kind of
No, I
you're done?
am happy to watch the new guys come up. I love it when they take an old trick and make it their own. They give it their own style and flair. I really don't think I'll be competing again. I do plan on performing, and
Sure,
I
of course,
enjoy
different.
that.
Yeah.
But I doubt that I'll be competing again.
Are you gonna
Never
be?
say never.
Are you never say never? Are you mentoring anybody, or anybody come to you and ask about that?
No, I don't have anybody that I'm mentoring now.
Have you thought about it?
I have given people advice in the past. Right now, the Knoxville ring, we don't have anybody that's really that excited about contests.
Really?
But I would certainly be opening to helping the younger people. That would be a lot of fun.
Have you ever given other lessons or considered
Yeah.
thinking about? Go ahead.
I had two students. Both of them were 10-year-old. One was a 10-year-old boy. The other one was a 10-year-old girl. And they were both okay. The girl was fantastic. She paid attention. She understood things. The boy was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, almost ADHD-like. And then at the last lesson, I was trying to teach them about active listening. And we showed them an old Judy Garland show. And she was interviewing Ray Bolger from Wizard of Oz that she had not seen in a long time. And after I played...
Scarecrow.
Yeah. After I played the video for her and for Jacob, Jacob said, well, that was silly. What does that have to do with magic?
Wow.
And
Get
the
out of here.
girl said she listens with her eyes.
Wow.
So she saw that the energy and excitement of actively listening is as important as answering a question. So I thought that was absolutely wonderful.
Great advice. Ed, thanks very much. Always good talking to you.
Always good talking to you.
You enjoy the convention?
Yes, I did. I will see you at 4F this year.
Yes. Next year.
Next year.
That's right. You're not going to Magic Live.
At this point, I don't think I have time to go to Magic Live.
Because You got a day job.
I have a real job. Yeah, I have a real job.
So the Magic Word Podcast. That was Ed Ripley. Scotty out. We are now just standing in queue for the theater, getting ready for the doors to open. But before we do, I ran into a good friend of mine from Dallas who is a past president, actually, the TAOM.
Yes.
And I used to work with him also when we were on the board back when I lived in Dallas. Well, Jeff Lee, here he is. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
One of the reasons I wanted to have you on is, first of all, to see how you're doing with this convention. You having a great time?
I'm having a marvelous time. I mean, this is only maybe the third or fourth national convention I've been to.
I was going to say, I don't see you at these.
I'm having a blast. Yeah. People are great.
What have you enjoyed? I mean, we had a lot of stuff. We haven't had an evening show yet, but what do you...
Haven't had an evening show, but enjoyed the couple of the lectures. Doug Kahn's definitely been a highlight. Our Paul Wilson today has been a very pleasant surprise. And seeing old friends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to ask you about is that for years you worked closely with Vito Lupo and kind of toured with him, I think, didn't you?
Yes, I was Vito's, dare I say, bagman. Traveled with him extensively throughout the 90s and early 2000s.
And Vito's got to be close to my age. He's got to be in the 60s. Something.
Vito is 60. Oh, he's going to kill me for saying this. We're in 2063.
Okay.
Getting ready to turn 63, I think.
Okay.
So
now, he's still an American citizen, although you tell me he lives in Venice, Italy.
He is still an American citizen.
Has he got dual?
Makes his home in Venice, Italy, and is doing remarkably well. Still doing the magic thing. Still doing a lot of consulting and performing. But he's also gotten into other creative outlets like photography. And he's been working with, off the record, Adam Fleischer and about possibly bringing back the New York Magic Symposium.
Oh, wow.
I know there's been talks about that, so keep our fingers crossed and we'll see what happens.
Well, I remember also for a long time he was one of the Imagineers that worked with Disney, and so he'd go in like on Mondays and all the rest of these guys, and they would kind of brainstorm.
Yeah, he wasn't on the Imagineers team, but he worked with the Disney event groups, and which is their, in very simple words, party planning service. But he was a creative consultant for them. When the Volkswagen Bug was reintroduced to America, he was a part of that large exposure and making that magically happen. That event was held at Disney World. And there's been various other things where he's consulted with and created some very interesting corporate events for Disney.
What years were you with him?
from the late 80s to the mid 2000s.
Oh, wow, I thought it was just only about 10 years into the 90s, but it was in the 2000s.
I worked with him for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Still close friends, but it's, things happen, life happens, family happens, and, so it's
How many kids does he have?
He has Bianca, 3 children. So Bianca being the oldest, Dakota, and Asia. So Asia's his youngest is 28, give or take, a year. Asia's a doll. Bianca is the oldest, and Dakota is a couple of years younger, I believe. One of them was, I believe, Bianca was born in 85 because he was in Dallas for Howard Hale's Magic Land convention back in 85.
Way back, yeah.
Way back when.
So why did he decide Venice of all places?
Has a partner in Venice. So met a lady, a beautiful person, and that's where they decided to make their home.
I understand. Fair enough. Yeah, I often wonder what makes people do things. I'm getting ready to move to Austin myself, and so it's putting me closer to my boys, about 4-hour drive closer. So that's my main reason for moving. So be closer to Dallas to see you guys more often too.
It's that'll be a very much welcome event. So enjoy Austin.
Looking forward to a different chapter in my life. It's going to be different. So again, you don't travel to many of these types of national, international conventions. Are you going to be at the TAOM next year? Well, are you going to the TAOM this year by chance? I don't know. Next year in Dallas.
I'll be at the TAOM this year. I'll be at the TAOM definitely next year with the combined convention going on, the FISM North American Championships going on, so the contest, dare I say. So yes, looking forward to it. Next year should be an extraordinary event. Hopefully unlike any other TAOM we've ever had, and hopefully will be a prize for the S.A.M. on the national level.
I think it really will be, but by the TAOM actually aligning with FISM, that I think is a huge coup. And then for us to, again, team with S.A.M. and just be a big three convention, basically.
Yeah, I expect wonderful things and an amazing lineup and an extraordinary event that conventions of recent have declined in attendance. I think next year is going to be a very pleasant surprise.
In talking with Dal Sanders, he's got some surprises I wish that I could share, but it's not mine to expose. But he's got some really cool things that before and after and during that is going to happen that I'm excited about.
Yes, I think some of the surprises will be extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, always good to see you, my friend.
Scott, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You bet. For the Magic Word Podcast, I was Jeff Lee. Scotty out.